Thank you so much for checking out this free video. If you don't mind, please click like and subscribe. This person says, Hulk Hogan was in London. My company were providing transport. He was very loving and kind and signed autographs for everybody. The cars were stopped in the street, and he got out and took photos with people. A charming superstar, which is rare. This person, Greg, I would say is a huge Hulkamaniac. He says he's being called an icon, a legend, yet none of that seems fitting. He transcended culture. He went beyond icon, beyond legend. Very few in history have ever been able to do that, especially with the longevity he was able to accomplish. He was my first idol, the first person I admired, looked up to, wanted to be, and the love and admiration will continue after his passing. Hulkamania will live forever. Craig, from the Brian and Vinny show, in his yearbook, I believe, you could like write whatever you wanted, and he wrote, Hulkamania will live forever. Yep.
Wow.
Yeah.
Not even Pearl Jam? Hulkamania
This,
got
I
the
think,
top
was
billing
well, this would have
over
been
Pearl Jam?
pre-Pearl Jam. This would have been pre-Pearl Jam, I think. Or he wasn't as into it, but...
Oh, maybe he was, maybe he was just even bigger into Hogan's music career. I mean... Hogan was almost, the basis for Metallica?
That's what he said.
Guns N' Roses?
Tom here says, as a child in 1982, I saw Rocky III at a drive-in. I watched Hogan steal the entire movie in a matter of minutes. His charisma was nuclear. I can't tell you a single other movie I saw at a drive-in, but Hogan on that giant outdoor screen is burned into my brain forever. That's how I'm going to remember Hulk Hogan, the nuclear charisma, and not the radioactive decline. Steven here says, oh, man. Hey, Steven, I know. I will flat out say it's my fault. I will even go as far as to say I'm a terrible person. I have not sent out the prizes for the prediction show. Everyone get on me to do it this weekend, okay? I apologize. Hulk Hogan was an all-time great, no doubt. Very unlikely many of us would not be fans today if it were not for him. He wasn't a great wrestler by any means. Actually, he was early on. But he was a great worker. He worked the crowd better than almost anyone in the history of wrestling. Great look, charisma out the wazoo. A character as iconic as they come. He had two giant phases of his career. Individually would make anyone an all-time legend. One of my favorites growing up. The reason I still take my vitamins and say my prayers to this day. Rest in peace, Hulkster. That is from Steven. Ryan here says, regardless of how you feel about Hulk's last 15 years or so, it is a sad day for pro wrestling. I'm too young to really understand wrestling before Hulk, but us fans still benefit from his impact today. The business may not even exist in 2025 without Hulk Hogan's impact. I was part of a wrestling podcast for several years. One of my co-hosts cried like a baby when Hogan lost to Warrior at Mania. Those who weren't there simply wouldn't understand. Everybody with any ties to the industry needs to thank Hogan for our lives, for our love of this business. We can talk about his legacy later. That is from Ryan. I will say that I do believe that without Hogan, I can't guarantee that any of us are listening to this right now, watching this right now,
I don't buy it.
Well, here, let me continue. Do I think there would be no wrestling without Hulk? No, absolutely not. There absolutely would still be Hulk. There would still be wrestling. And it's like, I mean, honestly, you could take anybody in this business, Vince McMahon, Hulk Hogan, I mean, whoever, had they not existed, I mean, to me, there's still going to be wrestling. But, Hogan and Vince took it national and were able to make it a giant thing on network television, and it just exploded from there. And, there's no guarantee that anybody else would have done that. I mean, it's kind of like with UFC. Like
Macho Man for a small time was wildly popular, but certainly not at the level of Hulk Hogan. Like people knew him because he was such a character and he was the Slim Jim guy and so over the top. But Hogan was on another level compared to everyone in wrestling. Like when I say another level, I really mean like 10 levels above when it came to celebrity stardom.
Like, of course, there would still be wrestling, but like, would we be watching wrestling on Netflix? Would wrestling have these giant cable deals? I mean, if you look at the demo, it's like, where do you think these people came from? They're all my age and older. Like, they all grew up with that 80s network boom. Like, it's like UFC, okay? Like, where would UFC be without the Fertittas and Dana White? Would there still be mixed martial arts? Well, of course. But would it be where it is now without them? Or would it be something that, some obscure cable channel, hey, we got this wrestling that we show, I think that wrestling and MMA, without Hogan and Vince and without the Fertittas and Dana, I don't know if it would be where it is now. But it would still exist.
I would say Hoist Gracie, too.
Yeah.
Because if somebody else had won that first tournament, we'd be talking completely different now.
Because the thing is, this is not like roller derby, okay? You're on roller skates. You're going in circles, which, by the way, still exists at a very low level. But I don't envision a time in history where people aren't going to watch people either fight for real or pretend to fight for real. There will always, it's impossible to not, like, that will always exist.
It's the oldest sport we have.
Yes. The idea that there wouldn't be wrestling at all, or that there wouldn't be mixed martial arts at all, I don't buy that for a second. But I do believe very unlikely it would be at the level it is today without those people. Make sure you subscribe to the channel and click that notify button, and you'll never miss a video again.